Okay, so Gege cooked a nice chapter, and I got my man Kyle. He makes a lot of great JHK content. Make sure to go check out his videos. And we're going to be talking about the chapter. So, how did you find the chapter, and what's your thoughts?
I can't lie, man. This chapter was nothing but greatness, and it's really
You
crazy
get
to
it.
think that this chapter is only the opening act, right? The appetizer to the fight that is going to be Gojo and Sukuna. So, I mean, not much for me, but other than this is just peak fiction right here.
100%. Listen, you said it perfectly, I think. Because obviously, I read the leaks and I was like, yeah, this looks like a good chapter. And then One Piece scans came in with the clutch time play. What? They released it on a Wednesday? Bro, that's pretty crazy. And I was reading the chapter, it like flows so well. There's a nice, like a beginning stage. Like, I was talking to you about this a little earlier. Like, for example, like a DBZ fight. Like, even though Frieza was an evil person or Cell was killing everybody, they still had that momentary respect of their strength. And they kind of started the fight testing out against each other. And then as the fight continues to go, the tension and everything begins to drastically change. And then you get to that point where they basically just throw out all their like abilities and everything. It's always done between like the very, very top strongest characters. And I think this is another indication of that. And I think not only does it go well with both of their characters, I mean, Gojo was, flexing a little. He was flexing a little the chapter.
Yeah.
But I thought, nah. It got me hell excited. I was happy to see. But what was your favorite moment from this chapter then?
Actually, just one quick thing on the before I answer on the Frieza part as well. It does fit because Sukuna being pure evil itself. Same with Frieza.
Yes, sir.
And Sukuna pretty much, it's like he's at 1% like Frieza, man. No 10 shadows, no Mahoroga, no shrine, no flames. But yeah, we'll see that Goku Super Saiyan moment of Gojo though. But anyway. As for my favorite part, I gotta say it's gotta be the ending, man. That little witty banter between the two. It's kind of cute. I can't even lie. I mean, if that's even the right word to use, but it was just like a nice.
This was our Jujutsu Kaisen. Say no more.
I'm staying. Gojo, is Sukuna going to the good side? Nah. But trolling aside, it was an odd, nice moment between the two because obviously they're trash talking. Gojo saying, "Oh, you're just taking that form, so I go easy on you." And then Sukuna saying that fish part. I was kind of raw. I can't even lie.
He's cold. I'm saying, bro.
At the end, it does show they do respect each other.
100%. And I think even build on that theme of even the strength of heavily finding someone to actually go all out against each other. So I've seen a lot of people, they were all like, oh, Sukuna's going to slap him up next chapter. Oh, Gojo's going to slap him up next chapter. And I'm like, bro, this is the first time they have someone who's comparable on their level that allows them to go out. And both characters love fighting, so this is the perfect thing. And I mean, even if you look at Sukuna's fight, he always allows the person to kind of like do something. I think Ryu's actually the only person who didn't get a time. He's legit the only person who just got one tap straight away. But apart from him, he normally allows them to try and attack them for the majority of the fight. Especially with someone like Gojo now. He legit has the luxury to go all out against a worthy opponent. I mean, even the Hunter x Hunter callbacks, we got the Jar Jar Ken from, what's his name? Gojo when he did it, and then the Spirit Gun with Sukuna. I was like, nah, man. It was beautiful. I think the choreography and actually, you know what's like a nice little touch? You're talking about the ending and you loved it. When you first see the smoke, it first obviously looks like Megumi. So it's kind of like a sad little thing of Gojo wanted Megumi, or he was stating that Megumi could get on his level. And then you had that little choice of him looking at the smoke, looking like Megumi and Gojo. And then there's really just Sukuna, and I'm like, yeah,
that's
damn.
True.
Yeah, man. So damn.
No, that was... For Megumi fans, that may have been depressing, but for everyone else, it was a nice look, for sure.
100%. Yeah, and I think my favorite part of the chapter personally was when they were in the building, and you see them in the building and they're going past. They're kind of like, I don't know, I can't really explain it, but the choreography and the paneling are some of my favorite. I mean, even just what's it called? The use of like the action panels for this chapter kind of speaks volume of what things is going to come throughout the whole chapters. There's even the parts of like Gojo using his hand to bring the rock to send at him, similar to what he did in Hidden Inventory where he pushed the two people at each other. And I think even using the callbacks of how differently Gojo uses abilities, like stepping on stuff with the kind of like Limitless to send him higher as well. I thought like even just those small things were hella creative. And then you got the, what's it called? He like drops low and hits him with a spirit gun and things are sent
Yeah.
Yo, that was cold, man. It was cold.
No, that was solid. That was solid. And it was interesting as well because just looking into it and seeing how Gojo reacts to certain things. So when Sukuna actually almost lands a punch, is it Gojo is allowing him? Is that what's going on? Or is it actually Sukuna's somehow broke through? I want to say, because I looked at it a few times, Sukuna goes for the punch, and then Gojo looks down at his hand, then the fist hits, and then Sukuna's surprised that his fist hit. So I do think Gojo
just took off.
It's kind of raw. He turned off the infinity.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
Kind of raw.
I completely agree. And I think it plays on nicely to the theme of them both wanting to enjoy the fight. To the fact that they can afford to take risks like that. And I think it makes perfect sense with Gojo's character as well. Because it's not the first time that he's turned off his infinity. He did it against Jogo when he wanted to hold his hand. And he did it against Hanami as well when he wanted to bait him with domain amplification. So it felt like in like reoccurring usage of what he's done. And one thing I actually want to say, because a lot of people talk, would he be able to see this mantle? So you remember when he used this mantle and then it cuts up the thing, he's surprised to see the building get cut up. So do you believe that Gojo actually saw the slash himself, or rather it's invisible? So yes. Okay, why do you think so?
So, because I was reading it from... So it goes from right to left, right?
Yes.
That makes sense.
So, tell me you can read it manga left to right.
So from right to left, so Gojo reacts, then the cut happens, then he looks back. I do think it was still extremely fast, even for Gojo, but the fact that he makes the face before it cuts, before it bounces off his infinity.
Like he's anticipating.
Yeah, I just think he was still shook by its actual speed, but he did at least see it coming. And it is really interesting to think that at least two things going on right here. So the first one of domain amplification. So this is something I actually was mistaken on until recently. Someone corrected me. I always went with the assumption that you can't use curse techniques of domain amplification, right?
Yeah.
And I think most people think that. But actually, when you reread the Reggie fight in chapter 171, it's funny it's coming from the Reggie fight, you can actually apply domain amplification with curse techniques.
Yes.
It's just, to use domain amplification to the max, you can't use a curse technique as well. So is it possible that, because we see Sukuna's glowing at times, and he's almost taking Gojo at times, is it possible he's actually applying domain amplification? Yeah, not just to his fist, but to his technique, since that is possible. You can make your regular curse technique sure hits like domains.
I would not be surprised as well. And it would fit onto what was said in the Reggie fight, and even back into, the Gojo fight. Because if you go into the Gojo fight, he says, even if you use a domain amplification, I can overpower with our limitless. So that kind of speaks to the volume that you could potentially still use the effects of your curse technique, even if they were to leave that embedded space for the domain amplification without it. So I think in that instance, it would make a lot of sense. And it would also fit into the Jogo fight with the fact that they probably, even if they use their curse technique, would still be overpowered by Gojo. So there was a reason why ended up Hanami, or while Jogo was playing like, what's the word? He like hit him run like a boxing technique. He would hit him and then he would dip, and then hit him and then he would dip, so that he doesn't actually get the effect. So I think now, especially if Sukuna is using it, that's what we insert. It would make a lot more sense with him actually having the strength to not have to run after each hit, and it would keep the stakes of the fight a lot more interesting as well. So I think that's definitely a good avenue.
Definitely, for sure.
100%. And then one thing I want to talk about is, you saw the very start of the chapter, and Gojo said, because you look like Toji, I won't have any problems with things. So one thing I want to ask you, when he talked about the special training, do you think it was one? Because this is the way I understood it first. I thought it was a joke to say the special training was him facing Toji. That's why he can now fight Megumi. So it's kind of like a joke type of stuff. Or do you think there was actually genuine training that he has a plan or something to save Megumi after, that he has no worries about actually killing Sukuna? What do you think?
I feel like we'll definitely get the answer to what exactly he means once we get that flashback. I'm waiting for that flashback. But even if he's not referring to training in general, I do think he must be referring to training. He must have at least trained, right, during the month, because there's no way he was just sitting around not training to fight Sukuna.
Yeah, 100.
And especially because he's seen one thing at Sukuna fight, and he's seen Yuji fight as well. So Yuji would have seen the flames, so he would have told Gojo about them. And obviously Gojo is aware of the 10 Shadows, and he is aware of Mahoroga, but he probably is aware of what it does as well, since he at least knows of his existence. Was he referring to actually fighting Megumi as being part of a special training? I think that's possible, actually. Like, maybe it was said kind of like as a joke as well, but I think there was at least a bit of seriousness to that.
Yes.
Where probably a part of his training was don't mess up like you did in Shibuya, where you see Geto and you instantly flash back years of information. It's probably a mental sort of training, so he doesn't get shook. He doesn't get pretty much stun locked like he did when he saw Kenjaku, right? He just instantly froze. Probably because it's special training, probably that type of training, if he is referring to the Toji.
Okay. I think personally it does serve nicely for a potential way of Megami being saved post whatever the conclusion of this fight happens. And I think even the fact that he decided he will deal with Megami after does give a lot more narrative implication for something to happen with that plotline. So I'm actually excited to see whether it is just something as simple as making sure he's okay against the fight, which I always assumed he would be because, you know, based on the stakes of what's going on. Or if it's just something as literal as maybe he used Yuki's curse technique or soul information in regard to something. I feel like the possibility is pretty good. Yeah, Yuki. Shout out Yuki, man. So
yeah, hey, Phoenix coming. I'm telling you, she's gonna play a role. Yeah, it's pretty crazy though. I mean, think about it. Every single attack, because it's not even just 15-fingered Sukuna. Every single attack from Gojo or 20-fingered Sukuna right now, like the casual punches, the casual infinity push, right? The casual dismantle. Yeah. These would one-shot
everybody.
Maki, Yuta, Akane, Kenjaku. Like any of these casual punches or attacks. Would one-shot any of these, man. It's crazy to wrap your head around that, you know?
And I think that's exactly why you see both of them smiling throughout the whole chapter. Because it's more so of an acknowledgement of actually their standard power isn't going to one-shot somebody. Like, it's, you know, for like a first time. So I feel, nah, man. And like we talked about, the fact that this is just the beginning, I feel like, yeah, we're getting at least, I'm locking down my prediction, at least 10 chapters. I said 10 chapters was my fight. But it depends if we get like
10 is right. I hope you're right. I really, really hope you're right. But max, I see 5. Probably from now, probably 3 or 4 more chapters.
3 or 4 more.
I think.
I think so.
He's specifically dedicated to this fight, though, is what I mean.
Okay. Are you including flashbacks if that is occurring or not?
If we include in flashbacks, probably 5, not 4 then. Okay. So not including this one, it'd be 5. So 6 in total.
I'm sticking with 10 and then potential more with flashbacks. I think we'll get a volume, which is, I think, 10 chapters, I think is a volume length.
Yeah, 7 to 10, yeah.
Because I went back to look at Shibuya and I thought of the most meaningful. Like, Yuji versus Maito, I think that's like, 15 plus chapters or whatnot. And then you get, like, even Yuki, including the Choso moment, that's like 7, 8 chapters. Hikari Kashima was like 7, 8 chapters. And I'm thinking just logically it's going to be more than some of those ones, maybe not.
No, you're right, actually. No, I think you're right.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I'm just like kind of in. Jujutsu is going to end soon, you know, because of that statement. I'm just thinking about that, so I'm kind of shortening it. I think you got to be right, though. There's no way he's going to shorten. I imagine he skipped a lot of things or rushed a lot of things, specifically so this fight isn't rushed, right? So, yeah, no, I'm with you on this, actually. I'm with you. You got me. You go chill about.
Yes, sir. And then the potential of some flashbacks and stuff as well. So I think it'll be interesting for sure what route we go to. But now, we'll briefly talk about some agendas. So obviously, your man Gojo's cooking. So I'll let you start off.
Yes, sir.
It's not looking, you know, Sukuna needs to come back next round. Because if we're doing this like a boxing card, he's 10-9 up right now, Gojo. He's looking good.
Yeah, for sure. It's one of those things where Gojo, listen, he's pulled out the red and blue, right, with his telekinesis. He's pulled out the hollow purple in the beginning. You know, he's using the infinity, the neutral limitless. He's pulled out everything. So I think for that reason, because Sukuna hasn't shown anything, it would be really odd if all of a sudden, like, Sukuna's pulling out 20 different curse techniques and secret abilities, and Gojo isn't pulling anything new. I think for that reason, yeah, Gojo's gotta be hiding. He's gonna be hiding a lot of things. The lime green, the yellow, orange, gold, you know, the maximum rainbow, you know, Sato Sugo, you know, it is what it is.
Oh my goodness.
Black, white, you know. I'm just saying.
Listen, I'm definitely on board with the Gojo has a lot more to show, even if it might not necessarily be a lot of new techniques, but more so variations of using how his technique already used. I think even having something as simple as space manipulation, you pretty much have a lot more usage to do a lot more creative things, and I'm excited to see what route. But similarly, I think goes to Sukuna as well. I think this is going to be the fight we see them both really pull out their full arsenal, and simply for the fact that these two are the strongest, we're going to see them push each other to just like a whole different level. And I'm like, bro, I feel like this just like we said, it's the appetizer of things to come. So the Sukuna people or Gojo people, if this chapters have changed who you think is going to win, you want a real fan. It's still Sukuna in 7 till this day. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. But I'm very, very happy.
There were a couple of switch ups, yeah.
There's gonna be, you know what I'm saying, bro? I'm saying, if it's one chapter that's making you switch up, you're not a fan, bro. It's crazy. But I think what's it called? At the end of the day, we're both eating because, like I said, I've said many times, I love Gojo. So even though I think Sukuna's gonna win. Seeing Gojo cook was amazing. When he dropped down, hit him with the red, I said, yeah, he's him, man. Like I can't even hate. You can't hate on him, man.
See, one interesting thing about Gojo as well, yeah, like what he was doing today. So we've seen him use, sort of telekinesis, right? So in chapter 1 with the cans as well, where he's not using red and blue, but it's sort of, telekinesis. It's what he uses to fly as well. But this chapter was a mastery and finesse and even control of space. It's on a level we've never even seen him use, right? It's to the point, it's like, as I said, it's straight up telekinesis with what he's doing with the Infinity. I mean, my man's looking like, Sun Jin Woo from Solo Leveling, like a Jedi Master or something, or the Force. Like, god damn, I was not expecting this
he
from.
Sent the what's it called, the build part of the building at him, and then he threw him with it as well. It was pretty cold. Yeah. And then Sukuna cuts up the thing, and then he dips at him. Like I'm saying, like the way the back and forth has gone has been great. But now I want to ask you, because since the chapter was pretty short, mostly action packed, what are your predictions for next chapter?
I hope I'm wrong. I have a feeling we're going to go back to the Kenjaku and Hakari, Yuta, Maki, and those guys.
Okay.
Maybe not, because the heavy hitters, right, we're waiting for, the Sukuna fight. I just don't want it to go back. Not that I don't want to see Kenjaku and everything he's up to.
Nah, I'm not trying to see none of those people now. No, speak your truth.
Not right now, like let it go a chapter or two more. Let it spice up.
I need at least 3 more chapters of just back to back before you bring anybody else, bro. Because we're fine. Like I said, the way with the Goku and
I wouldn't mind Kashimo.
He's not existent right now. Oh, but a lot of people thinking, what's it called? He did a deal with Gojo and he's gonna interject sometime. What were you thinking? What are you thinking Kashima's placing?
I think it's so I saw so one of my friends, he actually said that maybe Kashima was waiting to fight whoever wins. I hope that's not true, right? I want to see it. I don't want to see him after the series, but it's possible Kashima jumps in and all of a sudden it's a 3-way fight. That would be crazy.
And then what, the murder comes in Kashima as well, and then everybody just starts popping in.
I mean, to be fair, the only person in the verse who can actually, in theory, or even have a chance to tango with these big guys right now is Kashima with his curse technique, whatever God amps that does, if it does. The legends are true.
Fair enough. All right. That's interesting.
Or maybe he 2v1s both of them and claps them. But
okay. That's interesting. I love it.
No, I'm sure. Yeah.
Listen, I don't think Kashimo interrupts. The only thing I do think, and this is going to be my wild prediction, I think the merger curse actually happens. Because I know there is, he has to kill everybody, but I'm telling you there's going to be some shenanigans or plot twists in regard to that. And I think the merger curse becomes like a Meruem and then interrupts the fight. That is my guess. And it's going to be strong because it has a bear curse energy from people. That is my guess.
And that's when Nobita comes in. Nobita counters the merger.
And then
Zombie Nobita.
One shots the merger curse. Say word.
That's what I'm saying. With Yuki's help, Yuki's soul in the merger. She's in Tengen.
This was our Jujutsu Kaisen.
Max copium from me.
Alright, that's cool. Do you got any other predictions before we wrap up?
If I just had to say, right, who I think is going to live and die, I think Yuta's going to get stitch marks on his forehead via Kenjaku domain.
Oh my days, there's no way we can Yuta here.
I'm just saying. Hakari, his luck's going to run out, he's going to die, it is what it is. But whether his domain gets stripped or he dies in Jackpot, Sukuna cleaves right for his head.
Oh my days, man.
It's just Inumiki, bro, he's going to lose at least another arm. Like, I can't have him with both his arms. Like, can't have him with that.
This next level.
Yeah, I'm just going into hate. Yuji, bro, I need Yuji to suffer a bit more. Megumi used to have a depressing day. This is just lame. Nobody comes back though. I won't get things for nobody.
Oh yeah. So fuck everybody, but no, Bara's back. So we're chilling. Man.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and Panda. I like Panda as well. Mythical core theory. You know.
Fair enough.
Hey,
Listen.
the Tanuki and the. Because remember, okay. This is a serious theory.
Mm-hmm.
Yaga explains to Gakuganji, right, that for these cursed spirits to exist independently, he says there specifically needs to exist 3 cores, or it can't exist. There needs to be 3 at the same time. So if he's lost his Rhino and Gorilla cores, he can't exist. He would straight up die.
Mm-hmm.
But remember when he saw it in his innate domain when the Gorilla and Rhino were leaving, we specifically see only 2 extra animals inside of it, which is a Tanuki and a mythical Kitsune fox. I'm just saying the numbers perfectly add up, where there's 2 more to replace the lost 2, because he can't exist if he doesn't have 2.
Mm-hmm. No.
So and you know, when he was a baby panda, even he himself's questioning Yaga, like, isn't it? Am I not just panda? And Yaga explains, you know, oh no, you have a gorilla and a rhino, you have a brother and sister, and you'll find out later. So it's possible he's not even aware, just like how he wasn't as a kid, aware of the other 2 animals. I don't know why I just threw a panda theory out there, but you know, I respect Panda. I see a lot of disrespect.
So Panda's gonna do all of this to get one shot by Kashima all over again. This is crazy, man. Really?
Oh no, animal abuse, man. Someone call Peter or something. Man.
Listen, even
the
if
Animal
Panda,
Welfare Society.
Even if Panda gets all this power ups, who's he fighting?
Urume. I don't know.
Urume versus Panda. That would be the craziest matchup. Oh my god.
Hey, imagine if he gets like a mythical, like, add 2 mythical creature power ups just to get one shot by
into One Piece. You get some mythical villain. Nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. His 2 animals are mythical creatures. The Tanuki, which is real creature, and the Kitsune fox.
Yeah.
I mean, their mythical creatures have what, like shape-shifting property. They can control like the fire elements or something. I don't know. Crazy
That's
shit.
Pretty cool. Listen, in another time, Panda would have been useful, you know. In another life, in another series.
Not now.
Yeah, not this one. But my small theory before we cut out is we will see a domain expansion in the next 5 to 6 chapters. Not anytime soon, personally. I think the next 2 chapters is when they're going to start using their curse techniques like a little bit more thorough. And then we're going to see him bring out some new abilities with Shrine personally. And then eventually, I think Gojo will show us a new maximum technique. So I do say stay tuned for that. And I think it's going to be something pretty crazy. But I do think
it's either...
Yeah? No. Say what you're going to say.
No, sorry, not to cut you off.
No. What are you saying?
I was just going to say it's either going to be the Max White, the Max Black, or the Max Rainbow. It's got to be one of those 3.
Why those ones? You think it's going to be...
Max Rainbow, combine all of them, and I just like, you know, white and black in particular, because they're just so raw, both of those colors. They sound like final attacks, you know?
Yeah.
So it could be either of those.
Yeah. Hey, man. I'm excited. That's all I got to say. Great chapter.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's nicely wrap up. Yeah, I don't have much. Unless you want to add anything before we do.
Gege is cooking.
Gege is cooking. So obviously, make sure you check out Kaya's channel. He does his streams. All the videos are all in his channel. Great content. And yeah, thank you guys for watching.
Thanks. And leave a like as well. Hey, leave a like. Support the video. Help Blaze out. Leave a like.